Blades of Betrayal. The tavern in the border town of Ashvale buzzed with the kind of energy Theron Blackthor thrived on. Chaos, secrecy, and shadows. He sat in the corner, nursing a tankard of ale, the hood of his worn cloak pulled low to obscure his face. Though he moved like a common sellsword, his sharp green eyes betrayed the truth. Theron was no ordinary mercenary. He was the rightful heir to the throne of Galvaris, now reduced to hiding in the shadows while his uncle, Lord Edric, ruled with an iron fist. Theron's life had been stolen from him 10 years ago when Edric staged a coup, killing Theron's parents and forcing him into exile. But Theron had not been idle during those years. He had trained, built alliances, and gathered intelligence, all in preparation for the day he would reclaim his kingdom. Tonight, he was meeting with an informant who claimed to have crucial information about Edric's army. But it wasn't the informant who caught Theron's attention. It was the woman sitting by the hearth, her fiery red hair glowing like embers. She wore a leather tunic and a rapier at her hip, her posture as confident as her gaze was wary. Theron approached her, unable to resist his curiosity. "Mind if I join you?" The woman looked up, her green eyes narrowing. "Depends. Are you here to drink or to cause trouble?" "A bit of both," Theron admitted with a sly grin. She smirked, gesturing for him to sit. "You're bold. What's your name, stranger?" "Theron," he said, offering only his first name. "And you?" "Kalira." The name was as striking as the woman herself. Over the course of the evening, Theron learned that Kalira was a sellsword with a reputation for efficiency and discretion. She had a past she didn't talk about and a wit sharp enough to parry any of Theron's attempts to dig deeper. By the time the night ended, they had struck an uneasy alliance. Kalira agreed to join Theron's mission, her motivations her own. Weeks turned into months as they traveled together, gathering support from those loyal to Theron's family. Kalira proved herself invaluable, her sword as deadly as her instincts were sharp. Despite his better judgment, Theron found himself drawn to her. She challenged him in ways no one else did, her fiery spirit igniting something within him that he had long buried. One night, as they camped beneath a canopy of stars, Theron finally voiced what had been simmering between them. "Kalira," he began, his voice low, "I've faced death 100 times, but I fear losing you more than any blade." Kalira's eyes softened, and for a moment, her guarded demeanor faltered. "You're a fool, Theron Blackthor," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But so am I." Their lips met, a collision of fire and longing. In that moment, Theron allowed himself to hope, to believe that he could reclaim not just his kingdom but a future with Kalira by his side. The final battle came sooner than expected. Lord Edric's forces had caught wind of Theron's rebellion and moved to crush it before it could grow further. The rebel army, though outnumbered, fought with the ferocity of those who had everything to lose. Theron faced Edric on the battlefield, their swords clashing in a storm of steel and fury. "You should have stayed in exile, boy," Edric sneered, his strikes relentless. "This kingdom is mine," Theron growled, parrying a blow. "You'll pay for what you've done." The duel ended with Theron driving his blade through Edric's chest. The usurper fell, his reign of terror over. The rebels erupted in cheers, their victory hard-won. Theron turned, searching for Kalira. He found her standing at the edge of the battlefield, her sword stained with blood. Relief flooded him as he approached her. "It's over," he said, his voice hoarse. "We've won." Kalira's expression was unreadable. "Yes," she said softly, "we have." That night, as the rebels celebrated, Theron noticed Kalira slipping away from the camp. Frowning, he followed her into the woods. "Kalira," he called out, "what are you doing out here?" She turned to face him, her expression guarded. "I needed some air." Theron stepped closer, sensing something was wrong. "What's going on?" "You've been distant ever since the battle." Kalira's hand went to the hilt of her sword, and Theron's heart sank. "I didn't want it to end like this," she said, her voice trembling. "But I made a deal." "A deal?" Theron echoed, his blood running cold. "With Edric," she admitted, tears brimming in her eyes. "He promised me freedom if I helped him uncover your plans. I didn't think you'd win, Theron. I didn't think any of this was possible." Theron staggered back as the weight of her betrayal hit him. "You were working for him this whole time?" "I didn't mean to fall for you," she said desperately. "But I did. And now it's too late." Before Theron could respond, a blade whistled through the air, striking Kalira in the chest. She collapsed, blood staining her tunic. Theron spun around to see one of his loyalists lowering a bow. "She was a traitor," the man said coldly. Theron dropped to his knees beside Kalira, cradling her as she gasped for breath. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her eyes filled with regret. Theron's vision blurred as tears spilled down his cheeks. "You saved me from myself, Kalira. I would have given you everything." Her lips curved into a faint smile before her eyes closed for the final time. Theron returned to the camp carrying Kalira's body, his heart heavy with grief. The rebels welcomed him as their king, but the victory felt hollow. In the days that followed, Theron ruled with the same determination that had driven him to reclaim his throne. But the man he once was, the man who believed in love and trust, was gone. Kalira had betrayed him, but she had also saved him in ways he couldn't deny. And in the quiet moments, when the weight of the crown felt unbearable, Theron thought of her fiery spirit and the love they had shared, however brief. Under the banner of a kingdom rebuilt, Theron Blackthor was king. But in his heart, he would always be the rogue prince, haunted by the love and betrayal of a woman who had changed his life forever.